We shall pay homage to the Buddha 3 times. Namo tassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Saṅghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyaṃpi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyaṃpi dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyaṃpi saṅghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyaṃpi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyaṃpi dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyaṃpi saṅghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Pānātipātā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Adinādānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Kāmesu miccācārā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Musāvādā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Surāmēraya majjapamā daṭṭhānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Please repeat after me. Nimedayāmi sambuddhaṃ vītarāgaṃ mahāmuniṃ. Nimantayāmi sugataṃ lokajetthaṃ narāsabhaṃ. Sugandhaṃ sītalaṃ kappaṃ pasanna madhuraṃ subhaṃ. Pānīyametaṃ bhagavā patiganhātu muttama. Adhivāsetu no bhante pānīyaṃ parikappitaṃ gilāna paccayaṃ imaṃ anukampaṃ upādāya patiganhātu muttama. Ghanasārappadittena dīpena tamadansinā tiloka dīpaṃ sambuddhaṃ pūjayāmi tamonudaṃ. Gandha sambhāra yuttena dhūpenāhaṃ sugandhinā pūjaye pūjanīyaṃ taṃ pūjā bhājana muttamaṃ. Vanna gandha gunopetaṃ etaṃ kusuma santatiṃ pūjayāmi muniṃ dassa siripāda saroruhe. Kāyena vācā cittena pamādena maya kataṃ accayaṃ kama me bhante Puripanya Tathagata
Puripanya Tathagata
Acchayang Kamame Dhamma
Acchayang Kamame Dhamma
Sanditthika Akalika
Sanditthika Akalika
Acchayang Kamame Sangha
Acchayang Kamame Sangha
Supatipanna Anuttara.
Supatipanna Anuttara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Please relax yourself and make yourself comfortable before listening to the Dhamma. And all these good girls, I expect you to be very relaxed and silent and be cooperative with us and help us listen and enjoy the teachings, the wisdom of the Buddha. So you won't be running here and there, you won't be shaking your body too much, and if you feel uncomfortable you can change your posture, but you don't really make sounds and disturbing postures so that others get distracted. Because when you listen to the words of the wisdom of the Buddha, it's always better that you have deep devotion and faith towards what you are listening, and you open your heart, you are not closing your heart, you think like many Buddhas are visiting your heart right now when you listen to the teachings of the Buddha. That is how we pay close attention. So, since it's related to birthdays, I will mention the name later. This story came to my mind. I would like to start with that story. It is a story about a blessing that a Buddha can give to someone to live long. So, this starts with two friends who went to meditate in one of the caves during the Buddha's time. They went to practice meditation and they went on alms round, and they were doing really well for about 20 years. And they were very successful in meditation. But this one had a demand from the family. One of them had the demand from the family that he had to go back to his parents and get married and have a son to continue the generation. It was a family tradition. So one of them remained and the other one left. So he had a family, he had one son, and when it was the time, he wanted to visit his friend who was still meditating in the cave. And he went with his wife and the son, he went to visit his friend. And then it is the custom of visitors to pay respect to the sage, the silent sage who is meditating. But when the meditating sage was visited by the friends, when they bowed, the sage said, Sukhi Digayu, which means, may you have comfort and live long. May you live happily very long time. Only to the parents. He didn't say that to the son. So it was confusing for the parents, just because the son didn't receive blessings. And definitely you would ask, why didn't you bless my son? Saying Sukhi Digayu. How do monks usually bless you when you pay respect to them? They say Sukhi Digayu, right? They either say Sukhi Digayu, they say Suapat Veva, they say Teruvan Saranai, or bless you, or whatever. And you like to hear that. If monks don't say anything, sometimes if you expect it, it's a little bit uncomfortable for you. Usually monks give a blessing to you, and you feel very much happy and uplifted when you receive the blessing. But now you can feel how these parents felt that their only child didn't receive a blessing from this so many years meditating from this sage. And when they asked why the son didn't receive blessings, the sage said, I will not answer. Which was further confusing. They didn't really want to hear that. Or something bad is going to happen to my son. That is the feeling you get, right? So they again somehow persuaded, asked very, somehow with great intention they asked, well, why didn't you bless my son? Please bless my son. The sage said, there is a danger that I cannot bless you if my blessing won't work for him. He will live only for 7 days from now, which is why I didn't bless him. It was a heartbreak for the parents. And of course you ask, how could he is a healthy son, he is very nice and active. We don't see any danger coming at him. But then the sage said, it is an invisible danger. Someone is going to possess him, and because of that he will be killed. You know that these evil spirits can be there who can possess someone and bring you to a dangerous place and possess the life, kill them. That happens. It won't happen to you. Don't worry about that. You will have nightmares. It's not going to happen to you. This is just a story. You don't have to get caught in the story. So now the parents ask, how could we save this child from this danger? It's an important question. How could we save this child from this danger? And the sage, their friend, said, there is one person who can help. He is called the awakened one, the Buddha. If he blesses this child will live very long. So because these parents were wealthy and they wanted to invite 500 monks to their house, they went to the monastery to invite monks, and the Buddha saw the danger before the child and accepted the invitation to bless the child. And what did the Buddha tell the parents? The Buddha asked them to invite monks through the family and make a chanting hut, a place where you can, sit comfortably and chant. And monks were invited to chant the recitals of the Buddha. When monks chant, they review it because they know the meanings, and that creates a tremendous amount of energy in the area, in that place, so no evil spirits can hang around. When that kind of mental energy, the vibe, is created. So for 7 days, monks were visiting this place and were chanting. And at the end of each chanting, monks were saying, Sukhi Digha Bhava. May you live long, happily. That was the wish. That comes from a mind that is free from craving, free from any expectations, free from suffering. And that kind of wish is very, very powerful. It can save a life of someone. It can create so much of protection energy around you. Some people have these healing energies. When they do a healing from their hands, you feel the vibe and you get healed. Your achings and all the pain sometimes get healed. I have met some people like that. And monks, when they practice meditation, they have that energy. Monks usually don't shake hands. Also because they have that energy which they don't want to get it spoiled with negative energies. And of course, out of respect, you don't reach to shake hands with monks. You don't do that. You bow to them and receive blessings. In order to become a monk is very difficult, It's been a very hard thing even for many monks, even during the Buddha's time, to be monks, because their parents want their family tradition to go. Even the Prince Rahula, when he became a monk, the parents didn't like it. Went to the Buddha and said, don't do that again. You have to get permission from parents if you are going to ordain any of the children. So I had to get permission from my parents when I became a monk. So becoming a monk is not easy, but afterwards your practice and your attitudes, your words, the language, your behaviors, everything starts changing. You transfer your mind from worldly mind to a supramundane mind. You become a Mahagata person. You have a Mahagata mind, which is a surpassed state of the mind. Because you practice meditation, that happens to you. And a blessing that comes from your heart is very, very powerful. You know that, which is why you need blessings from monks, that you invite monks when you build a house. Your houses are built within 3-4 months before even you imagine the time it was supposed to be completed. The area is purified from evil spirits and bad energies. So you feel you have that energy and uplifted mind to bring it towards the end of your work, which is why your duties are accomplished like that. So the Buddha visited this family on the 7th day, as he was also invited for alms in that place. And when the Buddha visited, at the end of the meal service, the Buddha made a blessing to the child. Sukhi Dighayu, may you live long, happily. And that was such a relief for the parents. And now they know for sure that this child is going to live long. And there was the evil spirit who was waiting to grab the child, but he couldn't reach to the child, just because when the Buddha is visiting, when the monks are visiting, there are many deities visiting the place to listen to the words of the Buddha, because they are so pure and it addresses the direct development of the mind, the heart, and they like to listen to that. And when they visit, there are 2 types of deities. Some have Maheshakya powers, great powers. Some have Alpeshakya powers. Some have lower powers. So even the lower powered ones give the chance for the great ones to be near to the Buddha. And the lower powered ones go to the very end. The evil spirits cannot hang around in such places. So the Buddha made the wish, Sukhi Dighayu, to this child. You know how many years the child lived? He lived 120 years, which is a very long time. And he was named as Ayuvardhana, prince who had a growth of lifespan. He had it was a expansion for him, right? A prince who had a life extension. That was his name. So since this is a birthday, towards the end of this Dhamma talk, I would like to do that kind of blessing to you from all the wholesome things that I have done in my life, and from all the wholesome things that we have accumulated in our lives, the kusal, the merits, punyas, the rejoicing things that we had done in our life. So we will do a blessing for the children who are celebrating their birthdays very soon. So let's go a little bit deeper now. That I would like to bring your attention to 4 words and relate it to a nice analogy. So these 4 words, what is the first Dhamma talk given by the Buddha? How do we call it? Yes, we call it Dhammacakkappavatthana Sutta. The meaning of it is, Dhammacakka means wheel of the Dhamma. Pavattana means rolling of the wheel of the Dhamma. So it became the most popular one of the most popular discourses that the Buddha gave. In that sutta, usually we like to chant it, we like to listen to it, and we know that it's talking about, abstaining from two extremes. One of the extremes is practicing too much comfort, indulging in sensual desires, and you forget about everything else, and you think that this is the only life you have, and you want to have the best ice cream in the world, you want to have the best house to live, the best car to enjoy the life, and you kind of go to the very extreme of it. And because you don't have any faith in a continuing life, you may also don't care about your parents. You would just be selfish, and you will just only worry about yourself. You want to have maximum time for yourself, and that is a hindrance. The Buddha discovered that. But then there is this other group. What they want to do is practice only extreme austerity. They will go to the very end of giving too much pain, too much suffering to the body, thinking that practice of austerity will help them to end suffering. That has been happening during the Buddha's time, and still it is been happening. That people would like to go to one of these ends. That now we have certain types of religions that they don't have any faith in another birth, like in Buddhism and in Hinduism. They think that they will be accompanied by the God, or they will go to hell if they did bad. Of course, the concept of heaven and concept of hell is there in Buddhism. They are there, but still it's somehow a little bit connected to extreme practice of sensual desires and wanting of it, craving for it. And the other extreme end, which is giving austerity, extreme practice of very vulgar practices of giving too much pain, walking by one foot, and doing such things which is very hard, standing by one foot and walking on thorns. What is it called? Thorns, that are aching and very painful to walk on them. And you eat only once a month, which is very hard. You abstain from taking meals, and you make your own practices like that, and that becomes an attachment to you. You think that will bring you so much freedom from suffering, but it wouldn't happen that way. So then the Buddha found the middle path. But that's the story that we know about this discourse. But there are these 4 words that we have missed. The 4 words that are very important. When you talk about meditation, when you talk about anything related to Dhamma, these 4 words have to come from one way or the other. They are very important to any person in any age. Have you heard the 4 words Mutti, Analayo, Chago, Patinisaggo? Those 4 words. That comes in that discourse of the Buddha. Those were in the very first discourse delivered by the Buddha, and people tend to forget the importance of those words. So Mutti means, it's a Pali term. Mutti means freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from something. There is some freedom, and it has a relationship to something. Look, now if you have some extreme, hunger, how do you get the freedom from hunger? You put whatever that you can grab together, and you cook a meal and you eat it, and that's the end of your hunger. But it is temporal. It comes back to you again. And now There is a cycle, so your body needs more energy, more calories, and you keep eating things. The freedom from sometimes great desires that you have covetousness, that you crave for something badly and you cannot think of anything else when you have that kind of craving. And when you have achieved that thing, you have a freedom. Oh, such a relief. You know it's painful, but you want to achieve it. Because of that wanting, you keep going and going and going, and when you have achieved it, that's the relief. You see, sometimes when you have big things to do, so now in 2 hours you have to meet a dentist, and now the dentist is going to pull your tooth out, and you have so much fear about that. Now the technology is so good that they have anesthesia techniques. They inject something and you don't even know the tooth was pulled out. You don't even know the mouth is there when you have injected this anesthesia injection. But those days it was very painful that sometimes even anesthesia wouldn't work. Local anesthesia wouldn't work. For some people, unfortunately, the injections takes time, and you have to go through that difficult pain of experiencing the whole process of pulling the tooth out. It has happened to some. So one of my friends went through a hernia surgery. What is hernia, right? And hernia surgery. So he was given. So this was the second time he did it. He took a walk to a mountain when he had the first surgery, and because he didn't listen to the doctor not to take such steps to a mountain, he had to do a second surgery to put a net in it, and his anesthesia didn't work. It was too late for him. The doctors were doing the surgery, and he had to really go through that difficult pain of cutting his body. He knows that it's being cut, and he knows that it's bleeding, and he feels the warm blood coming out, and he feels the doctors putting the net and putting stitches to finish the surgery. And that is after that event, he was having the anesthesia working, which is too late for him, and he realized that this is enough suffering, because you know how painful it is when someone cuts through your body. He didn't know meditation, so he kind of didn't know how to go to a very good state in mind and kind of let go of the body and stay. So somehow this child had an appointment with the dentist, and he didn't like it. There was a child, he had an appointment, and mommy is the one who made the appointment. And what happened is that the child didn't even sleep with mom, just because he thinks that mommy doesn't like him. Mommy, I don't want to go to the dentist, it's so painful, I don't like it. You don't love me, that's why you are taking me to the dentist. So the child is now very resistant. He doesn't want to go anywhere. The next morning he cries and don't take me there. Somehow they end up going to the appointment, and they find that the appointment is cancelled. So my question is, was it worthwhile worrying about that appointment? The whole crying and complaining, was it worthwhile? No. So what is the freedom the child had now? Freedom from worrying about it. Right? He doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Right? He wouldn't have to. The day is free now for him. He's so happy. Says, Mommy, I love you. That kind of feeling that you get. So when you have let's say you have fear, now you have to walk through a bridge, and some people have troubles walking through, across a bridge, and they have fear. And thinking brings them fear. So something about unknown brings them fear. So you need freedom from that. And no way you can go any closer to a bridge. Or sometimes so now in New York you have these Empire State buildings, and you don't want to take this elevator to go to the 122 floor and look down, just because that you have so much fear being up there. Some people have fear of taking flights. They are only looking for freedom from that kind of thing throughout the entire life, that they don't know that it is psychological. The start of fear is all in the mind, and it is an attachment for them. As long as you have that fear, you have that attachment that you are processing. Some people have the fear of presenting something in front of groups. I had that fear. When big senior monks are around, sometimes when I became a monk 10 years ago, sometimes my teacher all of a sudden asks, Kusala, you have to give the talk. I had no preparation. I didn't know how to do that. But I did it. And now after doing it, I have freedom. So eventually, as I kept doing it, I realized that it's not about thinking about it, it's just about doing it. The time you open your mouth to say it, you have that freedom from worrying about things. You do it. And that tension, your anxiety, all of that comes just because you have thoughts. Thoughts are not going to give you any freedom. Thinking doesn't help you very much, except when you have wise direction to think. Okay? So one time I remember, I was in Italy by then, and I got down from the train. I was walking to the university, and this girl, the little girl in age, I think around 14, she was crying. She was just crying and walking very fast. And so I thought I should ask why she was crying. I didn't know Italian very much. And I asked, why are you crying in English? And she said, panic. That's how they say it. It's a panic attack for her. I said, I bless you. And she said, thank you. And she smiled. It was a moment of pleasure that she thinks that there is someone that blessed her. She can see that I am a monk, and of course she didn't have any fear. And I said, don't think about it. And she again said, thank you. And I saw that she was having some relief. And I didn't go into details because I can't really follow a girl and keep asking questions, and I'll be beaten down to the ground by people around if they see me chasing a girl. So, but I see this, people have these attachments, they don't know how it starts. The Buddha's teachings, the dependently arising nature, is all what you need to know. You have ignorance because you have ignored the truth. You have ignorance into anything that you do in your life. That ignorance is a very start. It's a cycle now. That's what the Buddha taught in his first Dhamma talk. There were only 5 people to listen to it, but it became one of the very popular talks, right? He didn't care who was listening, but he knew that this is going to benefit for thousands, millions of people in the world, and it has been doing that, of course. So the ignorance is there, that this fear, this anxiety, you have not been mindful. Because you haven't been mindful, the anxiety has arisen in you. You didn't have the clear knowing that now this is the start of anxiety, this is the start of fear, this is the start of any craving, any wanting, expectation. When something is going to happen, you get overexcited. Sometimes it doesn't happen and you don't, you kind of get disappointed, which is a form of, craving. What is craving? You like something or you dislike something. That is craving. So simple. You don't like something or you like something. That's a simple way to explain craving. So that craving is always there. And ignorance is always there. Because of ignorance, we create a lot of thoughts. We call them sankharas in Buddhism. You see, you ignored certain things and you have thoughts, thinking about certain things. And now, what happens? And now you are conscious of the thought flow. Consciousness manifests. You can see that happening right now, right here. It's been happening all the time. You are conscious of this thought, you are conscious of that thought. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. I got to do this thing, that thing. I have to cook now, I have to go to school, I have to dress myself, I have to do the laundry. You have many dirty things sometimes in your mind and you need freedom from them. And now you have certain namings and forms in your mind. You create naming and forms through your sense doors. You do it every time when you experience something. When you close your eyes, you are experiencing a little bit of freedom from those. And because you name things and you want to function in the world, you need your sense doors. See, now everything is dependently being conditioned. And now you have contact happening. You contact things from the eyes, things from the ears, nose. You have contact happening. And now you feel certain things because you immediately feel the contact. You feel fear. Where do you feel it? It's just a feeling when you feel it. It's not you. It's just a conditioning that happens here, and it's a painful feeling. It can be a pleasant feeling. It also can be a neither painful nor pleasant feeling. It's only that. Why do you have to keep worrying about it? Why do you have to take it personally? No, you don't have to. You just have to think, oh, this too shall pass. It's impermanent. Changing is the only thing that doesn't change in the world. You know that. Changing is the only thing that doesn't change in the world. Everything is changing, but change. So you have now feelings. And now you have pleasant and unpleasant feelings. Right? When you divide like that, pleasant, unpleasant, neither painful nor pleasant, you have craving. That is why you divide. Arahants don't divide their feelings like that. It's just a feeling for them. For their mentality, it's just a feeling. They don't really divide it as pleasant. They know it's a pleasant and painful feeling, but they don't take it personally as a serious, pleasant or painful feeling. They are not excited because they have equanimity. That's why when you have certain states in meditation, experiencing that, you forget about your body and you are not having any pain. You see these monks, sometimes when they are tortured, what happened to them is that so some kings were furious about certain things that monks did. They were very good monks, but the kings were spoiled. They didn't know that these monks were innocent. So the kings put the monks in burning oil. The monks quickly went into their meditative states. It's okay that their body got burnt. It's all about their mind. They can quickly distract away from get rid from the body. Even bandits cut your body. You just have your love and kindness for them. You wish them happiness, and you are totally away from the body. It's just a feeling for you. Even if you feel it, it's just a feeling. You don't have craving. So in this cycle, that is a step for Arahants. Beyond that point, they don't go craving for things. They have no clinging for things. They don't have lasting attachments to suffer a lot. They have that freedom. They have that relief. Okay? And they don't continue it to another life. They don't have reactions to things. They don't have birth, death, accept the birth, they observe the birth death right now, right here in your consciousnesses, in everything that occurs. They are just observers. They don't take it personally. They don't have grief, sorrow, lamentation, just because they stop from the feeling. They feel it, it's just a feeling. They don't crave, they don't have clinging, they just observe it. That's what they do. That is what freedom. That's what freedom is actually. They don't have extreme effort making to achieve certain things. They just depend on certain things. They need a little bit food to survive, and then the whole time they do meditation. I told you the other day that even the Buddha did meditation after becoming a Buddha, just that he had lots of equanimity to give to people, lots of compassion to give to people. He knew that the freedom is away from your regular sense doors. Now think of the tadpole before becoming a frog. He only knows that there is water. His experience is all about water. Now he somehow has his limbs grown and he walks to the ground. And he feels the freedom for the first time. That there is something called earth, the ground. He is experiencing freedom. And oh wow, he can breathe out there too. He doesn't have to be in water. That's the freedom that you experience, mutti, freedom that you experience in your meditation. When you close your eyes, you have the freedom from your eyes. Sense of sight turns off. The brain doesn't have to, fine tune for attracting certain things. And sounds are there. Tick tick sound from the clock, the things that are happening around, they are just regular sounds. Eventually you don't pay attention to them. And sense of hearing turns off. That happens in meditation. Now you have the freedom from ears. And when you don't have anything to smell, you have the freedom from your nose, sense door of nose. And your tongue, when it doesn't taste anything, you have freedom from your tongue. That's the freedom. And the body, when it doesn't have any pain, when you are sitting comfortably, you don't have any pain there. You have the freedom. And when in the mind, when you don't have anything to plan, you just feel like you are taking a vacation, sitting, in a couch, watching the waves in the beach, in the sea. You just love it. You have so much freedom. That is the type of mind that you need to have. There are no, extreme bad waves that are occurring, but just peace. That is a freedom for you. That freedom is very important to dive deep into the mind and experience bliss. That bliss that you experience is very powerful from any joyful thing that you're experiencing in this world. That brings you to the total freedom from suffering. Now before things start, you catch from the root and you become so free from there. When you develop a mind like that, it's very easy for you to live. It's very easy for you to have choices in your life, the simplicity in your life, and satisfaction, contentment in your life. It's not that you know that suffering exists. You know that there is freedom from suffering. You know what a truth that suffering exists, what a truth that you can have the freedom from suffering, what a truth that the cessation of suffering is there. There is a path, and what a truth that path can be followed and achieved to certain goals. You are experiencing that truth. That's why they are called noble truths. There is no other truth. There is no comparison needed. That is how you experience freedom. See? Anything is temporary. And do you have to worry in this life just because everything is temporal? No, you just need to have the contentment in your life. You understand the impersonality. You know this eye is not yours. You know that eye conscious is not yours, it arises and passes away. You know the ear is not yours, it's not you. You don't say my ear is me. You don't say ear consciousness is me. It arises and passes away. When you know the nose consciousness, they are not you. All these psychological things arise and pass away. The body arises and passes away. It's decaying, but you don't see it. And when you die, the consciousness arises and passes away. If it has food to continue, it will continue. If you haven't been feeding your mind to crave for another existence, it will stop. It's like a candle light. When it disappears, you can't trace it. It's gone. Can you trace it? Can you bring it back? No. The mind is a similar function. It's just that it's gone and there is no becoming, and that freedom is very, very powerful. Now you have freedom from studying, now you have freedom from aging, you have freedom from cancers and anything that can happen into your life. You can't even imagine that things that people go through in this life. We are so fortunate that we can see, we can hear, we can listen to Dhamma, we can sit comfortably, we can drive, we can eat well, good food. We don't have any such pains. But if you go to a cancer hospital, oh my gosh, you cannot imagine the pain that people are going through. You don't want to see that. You can't even stare at people who are going through these pains. And you compare with them and you see how fortunate we are. And the time that we have now, this age, right now, is the time that you meditate and have the freedom. You become a person who is very peaceful. You are ready to die at any time. You are ready to help anyone at any time. You are ready to do so much good to any person whenever you have a chance. That is what you do when you have this understanding of conditioning. You know, when this is there, that can arise. Now when you catch from this, when you stop this arising, that will not arise. This is how you balance your life. Fears, anxieties, anything can be handled this way. It's a little psychology, and there is no other psychology needed. Sometimes, now you have these smartphones, and I have seen some children unknowingly start taking photos from this and that. And when you have desire to take photos from some people, you set the camera invisibly. And you do it one time, and you never get caught. And you take somebody else's picture, and you keep it. You think you did a good thing. Now in Japan, what they do is they make cameras that makes sounds even when it is in silent mode. So somebody else cannot be recorded silently, secretly. You can have spy cameras. This is called you simply develop a psychological bad habit. And now, in the end, you get caught and you become a criminal. You get jailed. And now you start suffering a lot. The jail life is not fun. You create a bad name. You didn't have to have your phone for that. Your phone is just to make a phone call. That's all you do from the phone. You don't need to record someone secretly. You can just tell them that, I like to take a picture, can I? That's being so polite. And it's called there is a word called voyeur. Y-O-U-E-R, I think. That's a psychological habit that Sigmund Freud has found. And now because of these phones and things, people tend to take pictures in anything that happens. Even when someone is suffering from an accident, what you do is you take your phone out and you make a video of the whole thing that happens. You are not going there to help the person. She's really bad. Where is your compassion? You just need to throw the phone away and have to be able to help that person. Make use of that opportunity to help this person. So please understand that. So now it has been estimated that 63% of children tend to record people from these smartphones without telling them. It's a very bad habit. Now they store them in these apps that have locks. and they have so much stuff that they have stored there, and you secretly watch them, and your mind, every time you watch them, you get spoiled. And eventually your good vital energy changes, thinking capacity changes. You become a prisoner in your own mind. You live in that world, even though you are communicating, you are not really mindful. And you start becoming an absent-minded person because of these habits. So please be careful when you use your technology, when you develop certain conditioning, you never will know how to come back. Okay? So choose good friends. They can give you a lot of suffering. Be prepared for that. Okay? Choose good ones, good life companions. Speak nice words. If you are nice, you know you didn't do anything wrong. If you control yourself, you have that taming, you become a very nice person, very strong person, and your life is going to be very, very beautiful and happy. Despite knowing the suffering exists, you also have the contentment, simplicity. You don't have many choices to make, you just have one thing and you are totally comfortable with it. That's when you start becoming so beautiful. Doesn't matter what color of skin you have, you become so your complex is so serene that people know that your smile is genuine. You like that person, you want to be with that kind of person because their mind is so pure. They have been given protection. So freedom is very important from conditioning, freedom from conditioning. That's what happens in the end. So the consciousness, when it doesn't have anything to be conscious on, it experiences freedom. That's called Nirodha Samapatti. When you have conditioned your mind for that to happen, you don't exist there. You realize the cessation for a split of a second. And now you want to be there. And simply you develop that mind in such a way that it experiences total freedom from suffering. You don't have feeling, perception and consciousness in that state. And there is a direct knowledge after that you don't have craving being manifested anymore, and then you realize that there is no becoming, there is no longing for things to happen in your mind anymore, and that you have become a Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami and finally an Arahant. You go against the current, that people go with the current, they float down to the ocean, but you go against it and you realize this freedom that exists, which is why you become an awakened person, that when there are painful things happening, it's not going to be there with you for a long time. You quickly make your mind in such a way that you don't suffer. You experience the freedom and you let go of it so quickly. So within 7 lifetimes, when you have gone against the current, when you have seen the beauty of seeing this Nibbana, it's not a seeing actually, it's an experience without an experiencer, because there is no person experiencing it. Because you cut down your mind condition into the subtle consciousness levels and you have nothingness experienced, and you go beyond that and you have nothing to be attached to. The mind experiences freedom now. Disenchantment and all that brings you so much joy that's lasting, and you know now you have experienced freedom. Now you keep going that way. So that type of person is the person who is considered a Buddhist, an awakened or awakening person. Without that, you are not qualified to claim yourself a Buddhist. Otherwise you can say you are a practicing Buddhist. You are not there yet. See? You are caught in the sense desires in that realm, in karma world. You haven't crossed that boundary to go to the other shore. And it comes from the second word, analayo, detachment. Analayo is no alaya, no attachment. So Himalaya means where you have hima, snow. Himalaya means where you have snow everywhere. So when there is no snow, it's not Himalaya, it's something else. Okay? So the place that you have detachment is anaalaya. Quickly you realize, if I have detachment now, I won't suffer. that freedom and detachment. And chago, practicing generosity, smiling at people. The other day I told you that these corners are there to go up, to smile. When you smile, they go up. You feel uplifted. But when you cry, what happens? It goes down. You don't like it. You have tension. See? That's when you realize that this body is designed in such a way that you can be happy with anything that happens. So start from there. You are so generous and your mind is so pure that when you give a pure, genuine smile to someone, they smile back at you. It's a very good quality that Sri Lankans have. For people who visit Sri Lanka for the first time, they see this smiling of people. That's a very good thing in Sri Lankans. So mutti means freedom, analayo means detachment, chago means generosity, and patinisaggo means not associating unwholesome. Nisagga means associating, patinisaggo means not associating unwholesome things. Unwholesome means things that bring suffering to you and suffering to others. Not having them in your mind. See how important these words are? And it also means not associating a self-view within yourself. Being detached from this personal view. So you meditate and you become to subtle states of your mind, and now you see a rising of the conditionality. And you see there is no person there. And you see the passing away of conditionality. You see there is no person there. This way you are so free from the permanent view of having a self. You see the balanced state of your mind and subtle things arising, and now again the balance. There is nothing there. And these conditions arising now and passing away. And you see there is no there is no I. You can separate each of these and see that no connection there. There is no karma that you have to be attached to. You don't have to believe that everything is happening because of karma. Things can happen just because of any other things. Can happen because of seasonal things or because of seed and plant theory. When you have a mango seed, you get a mango tree, mango plant, mango sprout. You know that conditions are like that. It can happen because of tsunami. It's not your karma, it's just the nature of the world. So you see the conditionality in the world and how the mind is conditioning for things to happen. When you start seeing it, you can even count one thought and see dependently arising nature of that thought. That is how mindful you become. When you are sharpening your mind like that, you know where to experience freedom. You know everything that you have accumulated in life doesn't give any freedom. It's all temporary. You watch your favorite movies, it's there and it's gone. And you want something else. See, that's how we go. But when you start experiencing first jhana, you have experienced what? In the first jhana experience, for example, what do you have so much freedom there. You have so much tranquility. The Buddha has given a simile that in the first jhana it's like a it's like a moistured soap. From anywhere you touch, it's very cool. Your body feels like that. So your moistured nature, you feel the coolness all throughout the body because of the relaxation. Less oxygen needed to your body. It's not a busy body anymore in that state. So vivicceva kamehi, being free from kamas. That means you have the freedom from your eyes, ears, nose, the things that those faculties bring. And vivicca kusalehi dhammehi, you are free from unwholesome dhammas. You are free from hindrances, 5 hindrances. There are things that hindrance your path. Lust is a hindrance. Hatredness is a hindrance. Restlessness is a hindrance. Having doubts is a hindrance. What else? Sloth and torpor, sleeping nature is a hindrance. When you have the freedom from those, you know the path to take. It's like seeing a snake on the street and you take a different path. When you see you are going to, fall asleep in meditation, you take a different path now. You do walking meditation then. You choose a different object of meditation. You have to be skilled that way. That's why in Karaniya Sutta they say Sakko, being skilled in Nibbana practice. It's not about, how to hit a nail and make a bench. It's not that skill actually. It's just being skilled in choosing which path to go in meditation. That's a very powerful thing. That's the very first thing that the Buddha taught in that sutta. It's also a very old discourse of the Buddha. So being skilled. In first jhana you have freedom from karmas, freedom from unwholesome hindrances, nivarnas. Vivicceva kamehi vivicca akusalehi dhammehi. Savitakkan savicharan. You have vitakka, which means thinking. You think of the meditative object. If it is loving kindness, your mind is there. It stays there without wandering. And examining thoughts. You examine whether it is gone here and there or whether you need to adjust a little bit or not. Thinking and examining thoughts. Vitakka vichara. Got it? It's also called applied and sustained thoughts. You apply your mind into object of meditation. You stay there and you sustain it. You keep going. So peaceful and so nice. Viveka jang, which means Viveka jam piti sukhan. You have joy and happiness born of Viveka, freedom. Freedom from what? It is born from your freedom from eyes. You are not seeing things now. You have your eyes closed. You have freedom now. Then there is piti and sukha, joy and happiness. Patama jhana upasampajja viharit. Those are the characteristics of the first jhana. You enter into that state and you stay there. So when you first experience it, you don't know that. But as you are comfortable with understanding of Dhamma, when you know how it happens, you become a master of it. And then you know for sure that this is the first jhana. These are the characteristics of the first jhana. This is definitely what the Buddha have told. And now you realize that there must be more freedom beyond this level. Then you go to the second jhana. You let go of priti and sukha. Now you are experiencing a little bit balance of your mind. You don't have thinking and examining thoughts. Avitakkan avicharan. You have priti and sukha in the second jhana. You have that actually. And you stay with that. You have so much happiness and joy. And that becomes your object of meditation. Spontaneously. See? And then you let go of that joy and pleasure. There is no excitement anymore. Then you go to the third jhana. There is only equanimity, balance. Nothing is there. And when that is the state that the Buddha say, the noble silence. Your thoughts are not there, so you have so much freedom from thinking. And you are going to experience deep states of immaterial states in the mind. Now you were in material realms, you are experiencing material jhanas. You are going to experience immaterial states. So you are going to the fourth jhana. In that fourth jhana, you have only equanimity, and now you are experiencing infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, and neither perception nor non-perception. Those in your mind. This is the path of Buddhism. This is when you are starting to awaken from materiality to immateriality. You see the difference between nama and rupa. Rupa is what you see, experience, the body. And rupa is chakkurupa, sotarupa, any rupa that you have been taking from your eyes, ears and all these faculties. You let go of them and you have consciousness, perception and feeling. You see namas very clearly. See? What else? You also see sankharas, formations that have processed in your mind. Now you can let go of them very clearly. The nama and rupa difference you see. These are deep things that children may not understand, but I know because you have close attention, I am explaining this. Because you have listened to these discourses, you know why, but I am explaining, that's why I go to the very end. And beyond this, neither perception nor non-perception, that is even a perception. You emerge from it and you see where your mind was. You see that your mind was in the neither perception nor non-perception. And now you even let go of that state, stay in there. And then your mind is ready to experience freedom from feeling, perception and consciousness. When there is no feeling and perception to be conscious on, the consciousness experiences cessation. That's what happens. That cessation is called Nirodha in Buddhism. That is touching Nibbana. That is going against the current. That is when you realize that, oh, the person who believed to be there is now gone. And you emerge from that. And now look back at your experience and see that there was no being there. But you had fear when you were letting go like that. You had fear when you were experiencing this freedom. You didn't want that. You thought you were dying, but you are not really dying. You are experiencing freedom there. But that you understand because you have no consciousness in that state. You have no perception in that state. You don't have feeling in that state. What a freedom not to have any feeling. Not even equanimity. Not even neither painful nor pleasant feeling. Nothing. Freedom from a personal view. Having atta, a person who is called Sarat, person who is called John, person who is called Sarah, was not there. You see that after you emerge from that experience. And now you know that your lust, hatred and delusion are now, soon they are temporary. They even experience some freedom. And your mind is so free and light and you keep going so happy for a long time. This is true. This is when you experience, wow, what a truth that cessation is there. It's a noble truth. See? Now you continue to be disenchanted. You go to become a once returner. You return to this life. If you didn't go any further, you become a once returner. You return to sensual world only one time. Or you become further disenchanted. You become a non-returner. You don't return to this human world or heaven anymore. Your mind is conditioned in such a way that it will be born in an immaterial state and will experience final freedom there. Or else you become a fully accomplished arahant. That is what happened in your meditation. See, I think I explained the whole path. See, that's the total freedom that you experience. You let go of existence, becoming, rebirth. There is no reincarnation in Buddhism. Rebirth, you let go. Reincarnation promotes a person that is being reincarnated, but because you are seeing the consciousness as being conditioned, you see that it arises and passes away. There is no connecting person anymore. Because of that, you just call it rebirth. That is neither you nor a different person. It's just conditioning that has been happening. So the milk is there, and at the towards the end of the day, it's different. It's sour taste if you didn't freeze it. It's the same thing there, but it's different conditioning now. We are different from what we were in the morning. We are aging, but we don't see it. You see this impersonal nature in everything that you experience. So the analogy that I was going to give you is, you are being in a parachute now. I learned it from Venerable Ajahn Braham. He gives beautiful analogies sometimes. So this we learned in a meditation retreat for 9 days in Bandaravela, Sri Lanka. It was a wonderful retreat. So he taught us how this freedom comes from this parachute simile. He takes modern ones. So you take a rice pack, lunch pack, and you have water, and you get into a parachute. You are going up. So you go to a certain height, and you want to go further. It doesn't go further because it's heavy, right? So you want to go further, what will you do? Drop the lunch. You go little further, and you can go only certain extent. And now what else will you do? You drop your water. You need to go further. What will you do? The parachute need to go further. It's the nature. You drop. You jump out. That is what happens in meditation. The person who is called you jump out from the process. There is no you afterwards. There is no bondage to hold, no parachute needed anymore. Freedom. That's what happens in meditation. Because you have been listening to these Dhammas, can you say no to this? You know this is true. You don't say no. You know this is real. You then develop so much faith in what the Buddha said. That's when you feel faith, saddha, in you. Oh, this is what the Buddha really taught. There is no other way that people can misunderstand this reality. There can be so much freedom from the general experience and from that immaterial experience that you can experience in this life. You don't have to wait for another Buddha for experiencing that. You can do it here and now. When you are listening carefully, you are going through these stages subtly. Now you just need to close your eyes and practice meditation. If you give your time, then it comes at you. Conditions are ready. It's difficult in the beginning. 50% of meditation is just coming to a cushion. The rest happens by itself. See, keep meditating and you will be experiencing freedom. You know, sometimes some kings like King Kusala, he didn't go directly to learn meditation. He had a bad habit of eating too much. Had a big belly. He went to the Buddha and asked how to cut off his eating habits. The Buddha said, be mindful. You learn the quantity of what you are eating. Eat little, eat enough. When you do that, it digests slowly. If you eat quickly, what happens? You want to go to the restroom quickly. The body can't handle it. If you eat quickly too much, the body can't handle it. And you end up having constipation and all sorts of problems. Sometimes when we eat, we make a mixture and then we put it in our mouth and we know the next thing we are going to eat. We have even planned that this carrot and that thing will be there. You are not really mindful when you are eating like that. You will have some cashew nuts or some pudding or whatever. So you plan it. You are not there. You don't know what your mind does when that happens. Mind is not experiencing freedom. You don't have to say I am mixing, but you just need to be observing what can happen in your mind when you are eating. It's not that you contemplate or recite on the activities that you do. So that's the way. So when the king received this advice, and then it also said Ayupalana, you live long when you have that control of yourself. You don't have diabetes, you don't have cholesterol, you don't have anything like that. If you know which food to eat and which food not to eat. You wouldn't eat too much chocolate, you wouldn't eat too much ice cream, too much sugar, even if you live in sugar land. You wouldn't do that. You will experience so much pleasure. Monks, that's why they abstain from eating a heavy meal at night. They can have a very light body. You can do that. There are people who do that. It's not a sila. It's just there are so many people doing that. So they wouldn't get anywhere by just abstaining from an evening meal. It becomes something that helps you to practice your spirituality, practice your mind. That's why you abstain. So in our forest meditation center, some days we take only one meal a day. We take only the lunch meal. You feel hungry and you can eat enough. You chew well and You feel so good when you do that. If you feel hungry, you have dark chocolate or something like that. There is no food after 12. So you go so well and so happy. It's not to show up something. It's just that you can sit longer, 2-3 hours. Minimum we should meditate is 6 hours in our center when you are doing your meditation. You have many trees. You go and sit under those trees. You can give a hug to a tree. You feel the tree. You feel so much love, and you have birds coming near you, and you feel so joyful when you do that. The birds feel you that they have protection around you. See, that we experience. We have a pond and we go there and sit. Sometimes we see beautiful animals coming, and if we were shaking, making sounds, they will go away. Because we were not controlling the background, surrounding, everything was being peaceful. In meditation, it is the same technique. If you control jhanas, if you control the beautiful things that are coming, they won't come at you. They won't be with you. If you shake, if you try to control, the controller is the problem. There is no one to control. You need to realize that in the beginning. Just have to make conditions in such a way that the good things will come and go away. This is what happens in meditation. Okay? So, do the good things, speak right words, and have the right decisions all the time, right view. So all these things put you into the right track. That's why Eightfold Path is important. You have the right view, you don't have the wrong view. Okay? You have right thinking. If you think of becoming someone, you are going to be that one in your mind and in your physical body. One day you will become that. You make conditions. The whole world conspires you to become that person. That's the nature. That's how engineers happen. That's how doctors happen. That's how scientists happen. They had that intention and conditions were ready and they are there. It's not. They don't strive anymore after becoming that. In meditation, you just have right thoughts. The thoughts that renounces the world, that renounces fear, suffering, and that brings you freedom. And you do the right. You have right thoughts, right words to speak. You don't have bad words. You are gentle and soft. Sometimes you receive these phone calls from people and their voice is so beautiful. You don't have to see the person that this person has done a lot of good things, lot of good thinking, lot of good merits to have this sweet voice. You feel like you be with them. Your heart gets closer. See? That happens. And then Samma Vacha, that's what I explained. Right words. And then you do right actions. And you have right living way, right livelihood. You have a living way which is righteous. You don't kill to gain something. You don't harm anyone. That kind of living. You do the job perfectly without cheating. That's righteous. And then you make right effort and become successful when you make right effort in meditation. Not the wrong way, not too much effort. Then too much energy comes and you cannot handle it, your meditation fails. You have to have the balance. Okay? And then what will you do? Right mindfulness. Not the wrong way to practice mindfulness. The other day I told you some monks practice wrong mindfulness. Some monks practice the right amount of mindfulness. That brings right jhanas, right samadhis. See? This is the path that brings you meditation, bliss and happiness. Thank you for listening and questions. It went a little long. Any questions? Or we share merits?
You mentioned 4 words in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, freedom and then anhala.
Anhaleo, detachment.
Will you repeat the third and fourth?
Chago, the generosity.
Generosity.
Letting go. Actually, that's the word, letting go. chago, and patinissago, non-association, without, so that is actually not associating the body as a personal view, with a personal view, and not believing in a personal self and experiencing the impersonality. That is patinissago, disassociation. Yeah, patinissago. Mutti analeo chago patinissago. Okay, it's a good question. Yeah, next time when I meet you, I will ask these questions. Actually, I was going to teach Satipatthana Sutta step by step today, but it didn't happen for some reasons. We went to discuss something else. Next time. Yes, please.
The state that you mentioned where you jump out of the parachute and you're just completely like disconnected.
Yeah.
Is it just like blackness, or like are you present for it?
That's a very powerful, good question. They say it is a blackout, like blackness experience. It's a mental level, and that state you can't perceive it. When you let go of, when that final, not the final letting go, you temporarily let go at that time, and because you experience cessation, it's not you experiencing, it is just that consciousness has nothing to be conscious on. Some people name it as a blackout, which is also wrong. Then you think that there is a color in it. You have to now condition your mind in such a way that it happens, and then when you emerge from that, there are conditions ready that it emerges, your mind emerges from that, and then you experience it. If you read Majjhima Nikaya 43, that discourse, it explains what emerges first, whether consciousness is the first thing that emerges. So that is being explained very clearly. So your mental formations arise it, but you can name that state besides saying nirodha, cessation. Later on you experience so much joy and freedom, and you don't feel like you are really walking, you feel like you are flowing. That kind of experience. I've seen people after deep meditation, they don't really go fast, even though they want to. The body just stay behind and they go so slow. So one person, he's an Indian American doctor, Cairo practitioner. He came to a retreat in our center. He did meditation and he went very deep into meditation. He's considered a very good meditation practitioner, in a very good state in mind. And he went to the morning interview to meet the meditation teacher. And on his way back, there is a creek. And I was picking some stones to make a path for my kuti. And he stopped and asked, "Am I really walking? How do you see me?" Then I said, "You are flowing, you are not really walking." See, that kind of answer is, he knew that there is something happening here, and it's just how it happens. The mind wasn't ready to take a fast walk. That's why the meditating ones, Buddha was walking, very slowly, no rush. You can't walk, fast. There's no way you can do that. That's how things happen in the world. So it's a very nice question. You are paying good attention to ask that kind of question. So let's call it a blackout for now, and try to experience it. And then try to name it. There is no word to name it. I can give you a story about the words actually. So it's a Zen story. On our way we were talking about some Zen stories, and this one came to my mind at that time. It's also related to the sun. So there was a teacher with students, and he had a habit of taking a walk every evening, and he allows one student to walk with him. And he goes to the top of a mountain and he walks back. But there is a golden rule that you can't talk. If you talk, you will not be allowed to walk with the teacher anymore, ever. That's a big punishment, you know that. Walking with the teacher is a very good privilege, right? So there was this new student. He didn't really take the word seriously, and he followed the teacher, went up to the mountain, and he saw the sunset, which was awesome, beautiful. He couldn't help saying, "What a beautiful sunset." He just broke the silence. The teacher stopped the walk and went back to the monastery and summoned all the students and said, "I am not going to allow this student to walk with me anymore." The other students were puzzled and didn't like it and said, "Teacher, he is just a new student. He just did this only one time. What's wrong with it?" And the teacher said, "When you are saying what a beautiful sunset, you are watching words, the beauty of words. You are not really there. You are not experiencing the beauty of sunset. The words are limited to explain the beauty of certain things in this world. That's why when you experience some things, you become speechless. No words to explain that. There are things in Tibetan tradition, the monks preach. They say the Buddha had times when he wanted to say things, the tongue didn't really help him to say it, because there is no word to say it. The tongue went like that. That's recently I went to a talk of a Tibetan monk. He gave that. He taught us that. So it's a powerful thing to learn. Sometimes you have no words to explain certain things. The words are limited. Having words means having a language. That's when we got disconnected from the rest of the world. We can't talk with animals anymore because we have our own conditioned language. Those days we didn't have a language. We knew how to communicate with animals. That's why you have these stories with animals in Buddhism, that animals were able to communicate very well with us. We have gone so far that we have forgotten all that. See? How rude are we? Anyway, please understand. So the teacher said to the students, if you understand the difference between the words and the beauty of words and the real beauty, you understand a great piece of Dhamma. That's why from the first jhana onwards, thinking and examining thoughts or applied and sustained thoughts are not there anymore. You need the freedom from thoughts, perception, feeling. You see the conditions, but you don't have thinking and wandering. Okay? Any more questions? I know the question that comes to your mind is, when are we finishing? Shall we transfer merits? Okay. Oh, we do the blessing for these daughters. A little blessing. I need the names of them. Tara and? Huh? Hiranya. Hiranya means golden. Did you know the meaning of that? Yeah, Hiranya means gold. Tara and Hiranya. But how old are you? 9. You? 3. So cute.
Next week,
you will be 4 soon. Okay. So I will. So I will do a blessing that ends up Sukhi Digayako Bhava, which means may you live long happily. And I chant the discourse on radiating loving kindness, boundless love and compassion to beings. Please close your eyes and listen carefully. If you want to chant together, please join me. And our intention is to bless Tara and Hiranya, okay? Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya matta kusalena yangtang santang padang abhisamicca. Sakko juca sujuca suaco chassa mudu anatimani. Santussa koca subharoca appakiccoca sallahuka vutti. Santindriyocha nipakocha appagabho kulesu ananugiddho Nachakuddang samachare kinchi yena vinyo pare upavadeyum Sukhino va kemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Yeke chipana bhutatti tasava tavrava anavasesa Digha ye mahantava majjhima rasakanukathula Dittha eva dittha ye cha dure vasanti avidure Bhutava sambhavesi va sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Naparo parang nikubbetha nati manyetha kattha chinang kanchi Vyarosana patiga sanya nanya manyassa dukkha micceya Mata yatha niyang puttang ayusa eka putta manurakhe Evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimanang Mettancha sabba lokasming manasang bhavaye aparimanang Uddang adhocha tiriyancha asambadhang averang asapattang Titthaṃ charaṃ nisinno vā sayano vā yāvatassa vigata middho Etaṃ satiṃ adiṭṭheya brahmametāṃ vihāraṃ idamāho Diṭṭhiṃ anupagamma sīla vā dassanena sampanno Kāmesu vineyya gedhaṃ nahi jātu gabhaseyaṃ punareti Etena sacca vajjena dukkhavopasamentu te Etena sacca vajjena bhayavopasamentu te Etena sacca vajjena rogavopasamentu te Sabbītiyo vivajjantu sabba rogo vinassatu Māte bhavatvantarāyo sukhi dīghāyuko bhava Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkhantu sabba devata Sabba buddhanubhavena sada suddhi Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkhantu sabba devata Sabba dhammanubhavena sada suddhi bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkhantu sabba devata Sabba sanghanubhavena sada suddhi bhavantu te Nakhatta yakha bhutānaṃ pāpaggaha nivārana Parittasānubhavena hantu te saṃ upaddave Devo vassatu kālena sassa sampatti hetuca Pīto bhavatu lokoca raja bhavatu dhammiko. Let's transfer these merits to deities who protect us. And may all of them be well and happy. May they protect us and rejoice in all the good things that we are doing. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditva ciran rakkhantu loka sāsanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditva ciran rakkhantu dhamma desanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditva ciran rakkhantu te maṃ sada. May you all in Houston and in wherever you have any patients or anyone, just think of them with love and compassion. And together with you all, may all those sick patients who suffer, may all of them receive our love and merits. May they all be well and happy. May they find freedom from their pain and suffering. May they find final freedom within this life, final freedom into Nibbana, the state of being free from craving for things. May you all be well and happy. I bless Sankha Mahatya and the family and all these people who are here, especially Bhadrani Nona and Champika Mahatya, who have made all the efforts to invite me to Houston. May they all be well and happy. May all the things that you do meet with success and find peace. Also, I forgot his name, but the person who gave me a lift to this place, may they all find success and protection in every walk in your life. May you all be well and happy. I am very grateful to be here. So please receive the blessings from the noble community of monks. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddhapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayu vanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atho nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. May the triple gem bless you.